What is going on, guys? Welcome to this month's Flamingo Community Lagoon, where we kick back and chat about Flamingo Finance, the project roadmap, DeFi, cryptocurrency, the markets, and anything else, as well as answer any questions from the Flamingo community. For those who don't know, Flamingo Finance is an easy-to-use DeFi platform built on the Neo N3 blockchain. As a decentralized exchange, or DEX, Flamingo is designed with smart functions for everyone from beginners to advanced cryptocurrency users. On Flamingo, users can stake cryptocurrency in liquidity pools and earn rewards in our native token FLM. We've been around for 3 years now and have a current TVL, or total locked value, of over 30 million. We've also introduced our very own stablecoin called FUSD, where users can add collateral and borrow the stablecoin against their collateral. Those listening in on YouTube, we hold these Lagoons live on Discord, which we'll link below. We also have a Spotify channel now too, so you can listen there as well. While you're out and about, or at the gym, or eating lunch, or doing a little work. You can always have Flamingo by your side. So here we are. How's everyone doing? I know that we're looking forward to the next Zealy campaign coming up, starting any day now. We're also looking forward to a couple really big improvements and new features for the platform in the coming months, namely the new Order Book Plus, as well as the new Flux system. So maybe we can start by talking about a few of those things.
We can, but also like things that's been happening in the meantime. The last one I couldn't join in on the Lagoon, and Mr. Google couldn't as well because we were in Hong Kong
Yes.
for the APAC Hackathon Grand Finale and the new community assembly. So I want to share a little bit from that as well. So we'll maybe be a little bit Neo-centric Lagoon as well as a Flamingo-centric Lagoon. They go so tightly together as well. So I think it's fitting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Talked quite a bit last time about the hackathon and the announcements and the community meetup in Hong Kong. But we should definitely talk more about that and what actually happened there, because last time we were just kind of talking about what might be happening there, or at least what we heard from the sidelines while not being there. So now that we have someone who was there, let's get into that for sure.
It was really cool and an honor to be invited to join Neo in Hong Kong and the other community teams there as well. So we were the only D app that was kind of invited to join the community assembly. There is a lot of internal talks on what's happening on Neo and really core stuff. And D apps haven't really been represented in that way before, as far as I know. So it's really cool to be able to be part of the discussion on what's going on Neo, where we're moving, and kind of feel that you can have a voice as someone that is running on Neo, not just building Neo itself. So that was really cool to be in the same room as Dong Fei and Eric Zhang and be able to give feedback directly. And I must say, in those days, that was not the hackathon, but the Neo Community Assembly, where we're locked in a room together with all this great talent, I felt really humbled because there's so many big brains working on Neo, down to the most technical details, but up to the grander visions of Dong Fei as well, building the smart economy and how he still has his eyes on that path, and how he reasons about technical decisions that we make with that grand vision in mind. So it's really, really inspiring to be with all these talented people, and to be able to share ideas as well. I had a presentation for being able to use MetaMask on Neo natively, especially then on Flamingo. I was able to make a proof of concept where we swapped some tokens using MetaMask directly on the Neo N3 blockchain, and that was well received. There is some concerns there on how we should implement it, and some security precautions as well, but I got a good discussion going within the community, Neo community. And so I think we're we will be able to make that implementation as kind of a community effort. Well, will be open source, and like every Neo platform can be able to support Neo MetaMask that I called this kind of integration. So it was really, really inspiring and really cool. I got home full of energy. And on top of all that, like gas and Neo was pumping like crazy. So like going home, I was smiling from ear to ear. It was really cool. And I'm not sure how it was perceived from the outside, and especially with the hackathon and stuff. How did you guys look at that from the outside perspective and the activity that was there?
Yeah, were you able to listen in on the last Lagoon like YouTube video?
I wasn't. Yeah. So it's been super stressful. So
yeah, no worries. Yeah, it was a lot of excitement on this end, a lot of anticipation, just kind of like, wondering from behind the scenes, like what's going on behind the scenes. Everyone's seeing what's happening, on Twitter and on the various Discords, just seeing like some pictures and some different announcements of like, Hongfi giving a speech, or articles going out from like NNT, and reading through those. And there was just like so much excitement, but also I think people just like wanting to be there too. I know I wanted to be there. Meanwhile, gas was pumping like crazy. Neo started pumping, and everyone's just like getting super excited again in this space, especially like the Neo space, about everything. And it just felt like really, really cool. It almost like brought me back to like, previous bull runs, just like everyone just like talking so much in the Discord, and, just egging each other on. And like you said, like, we felt inspired. I can't imagine how inspired you felt while you were actually there at Laser.
Yeah, must have been. Maybe using the word too much now, but yes, it was really inspiring. So we kicked it off with 2 days with the APAC Hackathon Grand Finale. It was kind of the same feeling there as well. It's cool seeing so much talented people there as well. Teams joining in to try to build something really cool on the new sidechain, the EVM chain. And like, it was so much creativity there. Of course, with a hackathon, you can see a lot of these projects won't stay around because that's the nature of the stuff. But you can't really tell who's gonna be the success or not, because there's so many good ideas, and then it just boils down to the teams if they're able to like stick around and push through and see the idea through to fruition. And the chain is not live either, so that will take some time as well to be able for them to get into production somewhere. But it was really really nice to see. Like, it was the grand finale, of course. There's a lot of the bad ideas have been weeded out already. But still, with like so many projects joining in, having so good quality all over, that was really cool to see, and maybe inspired to build even more on Flamingo as well, because we can draw inspiration from all of that as well.
For sure.
So we definitely get home feeling more creatively energized as well, and then you can start a plan as well for Flamingo how we should tackle the whole new sidechain and EVM as well, especially with a couple of days where you get to really know the details of the reasoning behind the building that EVM sidechain as well. And even like, should we name it sidechain as well? I'm using that word now because that's just stuck, and I was really a proponent of not calling it that as well, because it is really something that can stand on its own, I think, and be as valuable as Neo. We don't get to decide that, really. Like, that's up to the users and how they respond to it and how the developer respond to it. So we don't get to say what's going to be the sidechain. Is Neo going to be the sidechain of or M3 going to be the sidechain of the EVM chain? Nobody knows in the future. So I see the potential there, and what Da really answered when we confronted him with that, like, what's the reason to do this now? Are we just doing what everyone else is doing? and his response was really good. It was something along the lines of course I'm paraphrasing, but he said something like that we need to meet the users and the builders where they are. And we're trying to build a smart economy, and it doesn't really matter what the tech is in the ones and zeros in the technical implementation. Should it be this programming language and this? Should it be this crypto algorithm or that crypto algorithm? Doesn't really matter. We should be technologically agnostic about reaching our goal of the smart economy. And then it's like, boom, on point. Of course, that's what's really important, to meeting the users and the builders where they are, to be able to grow and build that economy. And we can tie that into entry as well. And what I immediately got from that is like, okay, cool, we can actually drive those users, we can drive the volume, we can get more developers over, but then we can maybe open even more eyes to see what's possible on entry. Because that was kind of what's happened to me. I looked into building with Solidity and EVM in their early days, and it felt like too much of a hurdle to learn so much new. And once I discovered N3, I started to build on N3. But then again, I could see, once I started to build some smart contracts and do that kind of development, I could also see what the EVM was lacking, or the EVM-based blockchain was lacking, that I couldn't see before. But that with that tight relationship between those two chains, I think it will be also powerful for Flamingo in that sense. We can do the same thing. We can attract the users as well if the EVM chain is successful, and then have part of the products for Flamingo on EVM, like normal swaps, liquidity mining and stuff that's easy to do on the EVM. But then there's stuff that's really hard to do, like the order book plus the flux and the lending protocol. We can do so much magic so fast on Neo Entry that it's really hard to do in Solidity. Really like specialized devs to build those great products. We have those specialized devs, of course, but it takes more time, and it takes more audits. And I like, in that sense, I think it's a great step forward, the whole event for Neo, but also for Flamingo. Really eager. I think you can pick it up and hear it in my voice.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's all really good. Kind of play-by-play. I also really like that it was held in Hong Kong. Like up until this year, I think, Hong Kong was kind of associated with China, and that like crypto is, for the most part, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but either illegal, outlawed, banned, or highly looked down upon, criminalized, all of that. Up until, just very recently, and the fact that, Hong Kong is opening its doors, and Neo had the, hackathon finale, the APAC, Asia Pacific hackathon finale there in Hong Kong. And it sounds like a lot of these teams were from Hong Kong. Like, that's powerful.
Yeah, it sends a message, definitely.
Yeah.
And Hong Kong was a super interesting place in with regards to crypto. Like you said, I'm not sure the regulatory history in Hong Kong, but what I learned when I was there is that at least they took it slowly. So it's been allowed to institutionally trade in Hong Kong for a while, and to provide products for institutional investment and trading. But on the consumer level, they've been really careful in opening up and trying to do it the right way. And now they are opening up, and people or exchanges can apply for licenses to do retail or consumer facing products. So I think they've been doing it the right way, and they do have that kind of mix of being a financial hub. So they have capital, and they have a lot of universities, especially technical universities, that have talent for programming and financial and other things that are needed in our industry. So they have the talent, the capital, and now when they open the doors and licenses for consumer level trading and access to crypto, they do have the users as well. So they have that three-part triangle that is needed for successful companies to grow out of Hong Kong, Web3 companies to grow out of Hong Kong. So it's kind of like you're looking around and you're thinking like, is this the place to move? So it's really interesting to go there and experience it. We were in Cyberport, that is one of their technical hubs there in Hong Kong. And some speakers were invited from Cyberport as well that live there, both regulators and projects. So that was cool as well to be able to learn a little bit more about Hong Kong and how they're bullish on Web3 and crypto.
That's awesome. And I'm pretty sure I've read in a couple places that typically or historically, China kind of almost uses Hong Kong as like a guinea pig and like sees what works and doesn't work in Hong Kong, and then maybe plays copycat a little bit, depending on like outcomes in Hong Kong. So if things go well, like with crypto and Web3 in Hong Kong, then, you know, again, just my opinion, but we could see China kind of following suit. They just kind of
right.
what happens in Hong Kong and kind of goes from there, but who knows?
Yeah, and like I think that's a good and optimistic way to look at it either way, because okay, maybe they do. So yes, that's a plus. If they don't, they won't really shut down anything in Hong Kong anyways, I think, because like the way I can see it growing now, it is already a success. So yeah, I don't see a reason why they should shut down anything in Hong Kong anyway. And if it's a major success, why shouldn't they copy paste? So at least the things that are least concerning for them in mainland China. So I think that's a good and optimistic, the right way to look at it. Yep. Definitely, yeah. So I've been talking for a while about that as well. So, but I do know that we have stuff happening on Flamingo and Zealy and stuff as well. So I don't want to take all that time. Well, we can dabble and go back to it, circle back to it as well. So anyone want to talk a little bit about what's happening on Flamingo concretely for the last 4 weeks as well?
Yeah, maybe we can talk about the previous Zealy contest and the upcoming Zealy contest. Maybe Zatroff and Morton can talk about the Zealy contest a little bit, and I'm happy to talk about the upcoming Zealy contest a little bit too. I know it's a couple days in advance, but I always like to give the people who join the community Lagoon AMA like a little bit of a front seat view on, you know, what's coming. That gives a little bit more incentive for other people to start joining the lagoons with us, because the people in the lagoons are typically the first to know. And I like to keep it that way, because why not? Like, why not share the news live to those who want to, you know, join in and learn about where Flamingo is and where we're going and all of that, because the article will come later, the announcement will come later, but it's a nice little bonus to be able to hear about it, especially like in a personal kind of context like this, like directly from our voices and our team members and stuff. So why don't I get into that a little bit later, and for now maybe Zatroff and Morton could talk a little bit about how Zealy's been going.
Yeah, we really did a great job with our Flamingo birthday campaign on Zealy, and it had a huge impact. So we decided to continue it and turned the ambassador program into the Zealy campaign. So as other users know that we had so much less daily missions, repeatable daily missions. But now we are going to add lots of daily missions that you can learn about how to use the Flamingo platform, how to convert your tokens, how to bridge your tokens, etc. And with it, we will also have the same tweet missions that you can retweet, like, and share our tweets, or you can paste, share our tweet templates. But also I saw some users asking for those quiz questions. So in our birthday campaign, we used those quiz missions as a tiebreaker, so they were really hard. But if you also want, we can also add some quiz questions as missions. As a fun, probably they will be like fun fact missions. Or I don't know. We didn't think about it yet, but I'm really glad to see that you folks are really enjoying those quests. So people are again expecting some quests, the quiz missions to answer again. I don't know. Maybe we can add some.
People have been reading up now, maybe, so they're like Flamingo experts. Next time you maybe ask what's the hash for the lock contract on the Flamingo lend, they will just type it from memory with a hash. So people will be like super experts now on quizzes because the last questions were probably so hard that way that they thought they had to read up. But like you say, it's a tiebreaker, so we had to.
Yeah, now we will have lots of daily completable missions that will probably break ties. And while people are clicking those URLs within these missions, they will also start or they will learn about the platform. So we have lots of YouTube video tutorials about how to use the platform. So we know that you know Flamingo. Okay, but do you know really how to create a new wallet, how to bridge your tokens, etc. So if you don't know about those videos, now you will be, and you can click, watch, and learn something new about the platform. Because as you can see, United States is really going hard on Binance, and CZ is getting imprisoned. So if those centralized exchanges are going to extinct, people are going to use those decentralized finance solutions. And with these recent Order Book Plus updates, probably you will not need any centralized exchange anymore, because you can now input limit orders with it. So that will be a really good option to trade on a decentralized finance platform. So we are trying to increase our users with these Zealy campaigns, and thanks to you users, we are increasing our numbers, and I'm really glad that people are enjoying it, completing these quests.
Yeah. We are a very competitive community, I can say.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, and I think it's also worth to note that Zealy has two functions, in the sense that we can get new users from it directly from the people participating in the Zealy campaigns and goals and quests, and checking them off, learning about Flamingo, and actually ending up using the platform. But also it's a marketing vehicle, so even if you do those quests and help us out by being an eager Zealy participant and not using Flamingo, you should be promoting Flamingo in such a way that we do get those users anyways. So it's part, in a sense, an engine to get users, but also marketing vehicle as a whole, so that we don't necessarily everyone doesn't need to be educated on how to use Flamingo perfectly or use it every day. If you still enjoy doing those Zealy quests and would like to just have the rewards, that helps us a lot as well. But I must say, the more you learn about Flamingo, even if you don't use it, I think you would learn the most from using it, so I recommend that. Like, even if you don't use it on a daily basis, the more you know about it, the more you will be able to market Flamingo and to be more successful in the future quests, because sometimes maybe the quests will be more creative for you to just make something of your own and share it, and if that has value for us, we will reward with XP and points. So the more you know, the more you will be in a good position to win the leaderboards in the future.
A really good point, Laser. We plan to open some quote unquote open-ended Zealy tasks with this next campaign, and with those it'll basically be a quote unquote like free-for-all. Like, so if you wanted to make a video about Flamingo and what you can do on Flamingo, you're more than welcome to do that. Drop the video link in this free-for-all mission. At the end of the campaign, the team will get together, look at all of the free-for-all submissions, pick the ones we think really stood out to us, and reward them a bunch of extra XP. With the extra XP, obviously you can earn a better place on the leaderboard and potentially earn more rewards. And like Atlaser said, the more you know about Flamingo, the easier it will be for you go and create things for these open-ended missions. Another example would be like a Medium article. Another example would be, making Flamingo t-shirts and like going and flyering around your town, or making like brochures or whatnot, flyering around your town. Like, have you heard of Flamingo Finance DeFi? That sort of thing. So there's no limit really as to what you can do, what you can submit. Obviously, keep it clean, keep it tight. Nothing is off
illegal.
Legal. And that said, we will be having our next Zealy campaign kickoff on December 1st. And we will actually be having a Zealy campaign kickoff on every 1st of every month for the foreseeable future. The campaigns will last 26 days every month. So starting on December 1st, we'll have a Zealy campaign kickoff. It'll go for 26 days and we'll reward X amount of dollars. I won't give that amount away just yet. And then in February 1st, we'll have another one start. It'll go till February 26th, so on and so forth. And they'll all be similar to the Flamingo third birthday campaign. So there'll be tweet tasks, quiz tasks, open-ended free-for-all tasks, timed tasks, you name it. They'll be there. So, and just a special shout out to Morton, who recently joined the Flamingo team. He'll be helping us on the Zealy as well. So now that we have even more power on the team to focus on Zealy, like, you can expect a lot more out of Zealy from us too. And like Atlaser and Zatarov both said, like, it is not only a vehicle to bring more users to Flamingo, but also specifically a marketing vehicle to spread the word about Flamingo and to drive engagement on the Flamingo content. So whether that's on Twitter, that's on YouTube, that's on Spotify, that's on Medium, everywhere Flamingo is, we want the Zealy army to join us. We want the Zealy army to be there, liking, commenting, retweeting, clapping on Medium articles, commenting on YouTube videos, or liking or subscribing to YouTube. All of that stuff really adds up. And once people start seeing the numbers go burr, the numbers continue to keep going burr. So that's why we reward, you on Zealy to do these tasks for us, because it really means a lot to us, and it should help us a lot in all sorts of endeavors. So yeah, we're looking forward to this next Zealy event starting in a few days. And we hope we'll see you guys there for it. If anyone in the audience, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I hope from what we do with the Zealy campaign that more people will discover Flamingo and know what Flamingo is, so that once we have that next bull run, they know a little bit more about DeFi, because I think it will be a really central role in the next bull run. And it kind of was already in the previous bull run. It was kind of part of it, not totally, because it was like so new and what needed to be discovered, like doing some products decentralized and some have not yet been discovered. But now it's like, with all the exchanges getting sued left and right, and they're having those internal problems like FTX as well. Like, it's not good with all that trust, I guess. And I think DeFi will have a more central role, and if we could educate people in the meantime, that's really, really good. So I just wanted to share my take on that as well. Like, be
Indeed.
ready for Flamingo in the next bull run.
Yeah,
Indeed.
good point.
And the better thing is this campaign, this time you will have the chance to become an ambassador in the Zealy campaign. All you have to do is climb to the top of the leaderboard, right?
Yes. Good point, Morten. Every month we'll be adding 2 ambassadors, Flamingo ambassadors on Discord, just to add some more clout to your name and add you to a special Discord group, give you a special badge on your username, all of that. So the top 2 placements on the Zealy leaderboard each month will win that as well. And yeah, to your point, Atlaser and Zatroff, I think DeFi is going to be kind of front and center in this next bull run, especially with all these sexes kind of falling off the cliff lately. I've seen a lot more buzz going around on Twitter about DeFi, just from random people, people with high follower counts, all of a sudden are tweeting about DeFi, and I've even seen Dahongfi and CZ and all of those folks tweeting about DeFi too, because it just makes sense. If all these exchanges are going south all of a sudden, it's going to scare a lot of the other exchanges, and that seems to be what's happening. We got the FTX stuff that happened, now the Binance stuff, we've got Bittrex going down, we've got all sorts of sexes falling off the edge of the cliff right now, and now the focus is becoming about DeFi. And if this is kind of the quote unquote bottom, and we're kind of like looking at a bull run ahead, and DeFi is front and center, this could be really big for Flamingo. I hope it is, especially with all the marketing we have going on, and the great devs that we have, and the great mods that we have. All of it kind of just paints this beautiful picture of Flamingo just being absolutely ready to just take the freaking wheel, hit the ground running, pedal to the metal, bull run ahead. I'm super excited about it. That's just me, drinking coffee and going on this super shillish Flamingo rant, but I got to do that once in a while. So
yeah, that's cool. We need energy in this Lagoon as well, and in this podcast we do. So I love it. I love hearing it, and I think maybe we should read through some chats as well, because I see there is some questions being posted there. For some users have left already asking questions, but they can probably read or listen into the podcast and get their questions answered later. So should we read through the chat?
Definitely. And I also just invited Nafi up to speak. He had his
he had some questions, or he or she. So he can probably ask them now.
Feel free to join the stage, Nafi or Nafe. If not, then we'll read through some questions. We have from Flipit: what is Flamingo's plan towards EVM sidechain integration? Will Flamingo deploy on other EVM chains? I think I'll defer to Atlaser for that one.
Yeah, I spoke a little bit about it earlier in the Lagoon. So I think we will see, at least with the new EVM chain, Neo EVM chain, that we will deploy some liquidity pools, and you should be able to do some swaps on Flamingo using the EVM chain, and maybe some liquidity mining. That's at least the beginning of what we should do. Then we could see what other products can fit on the EVM chain and what we can do over there. And it also depends on adoption. If it gets a lot of adoption, then we will probably release more products on it, because that will benefit everyone more. But that's the slow beginning. And we don't think we should release any other products on other EVM chains. We don't see really a benefit with doing that immediately, because then we become basically something that is a EVM product where we can't really innovate with all the stuff we do on Entry, because it is easy to do and it's cheap to do in the sense of transaction cost and all that stuff. And we feel that we love the tech behind how the consensus is done on Neo as well, and that will be kind of the same consensus on EVM's chain as well. So that's the reason why we want to stay on the Neo EVM chain and on Neo Entry. We don't really want to move on to other EVM chains, really. So no plans, at least, for that now. Things may change over the year, but that's the plan for now. So hope that answers your question.
I still have a small question about those two chains. The gas, is it a new gas there, or do we have the same gas? And is the gas the only thing we don't have to wrap if we go from EVM to entry and back?
Gas is the only token you have there.
But is it the same gas? So we don't have to wrap the gas to use on the EVM chain. We can just transfer it, or how does it work?
Yeah, of course, you go from one chain to another chain, so you will have to.
So the gas is not
in a sense, but it is native in the chain. So it's not a wrapped version. So there will be like this sort of should be this native bridge. That was part of the discussions in the community assembly on how to solve that problem with the cross chain and how to do it decentralized enough, and maybe relying on the same kind of consensus mechanism that you have on both chains, so that you really do vote for the ones that do secure the cross chain as well as the chains, so that it's tightly integrated.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. So the gas will be that same gas that runs. So you won't get, like, from what I know at this point in time, you won't get more gas over there as well. So there will be like kind of a pressure, like on gas, will be more gas use, basically, from what I understand. Might be some. Sorry.
So the token will also just be called gas on EVM chain and gas on entry chain, and you have to send it to EVM, but it's not that you have something like e-gas on there. It's the same.
No. Yeah, from my experience now, and what's been decided for now, as far as I know, these things are really subject to change. But that's the whole idea, to have that as the same token for powering that chain, so it will make gas even more powerful. And I think it was a mix of gas being listed on Upbit when you saw that crazy spike, and also that all the talks about gas being the essential part of a whole new chain that made people positive on gas, and you saw it explode in price. That's just my perspective on it. I'm not sure.
But then if we do the liquidity mining there, then it is a wrapped version of Flamingo that is liquidity mined, or how do I?
It depends on like what assets ends up being on the EVM chain. Yes, you can kind of have the Bitcoin there as well, and Ethereum wrapped from Ethereum chain instead of from the Neo chain. So it depends on like which asset flows which way, and what kind of pools is necessary to have on that EVM chain. But because there will pop up new projects as well. So let's say we have some new interesting decks or games or betting sites, anything on that EVM chain. They will probably have their own tokens, and they will need liquidity pools. And historically, Flamingo has been a great place to attract that capital, to give FLM rewards or reverse pools for people to have. To have their token offered on that new EVM chain with a native swap on that chain. So it all depends on how it pans out, but that's how I look at it now, that we will definitely support those native tokens against gas or against FLM or something. So then you can think you maybe have a carrot token paired with the FLM token, the gas token, or Neo token, or some other tokens that make sense on that chain. So that will maybe be the most reason why we support some swap over there as well. Not to have like the same pools that we have on Neo. That doesn't really make sense. Some will be for the bigger tokens, because everyone wants to trade against Bitcoin or something. So yeah, we will see how it pans out. But that's my idea for now, and we need to discuss it more in the community, of course, and internally in the teams. So yeah.
Okay, interesting. Much to come.
Yes, and then Nafa had some questions higher up, I think, Bordeaux. Is there any idea of burning FLM? And yes, also I kept my FLM in Binance. Is there any wallet with more rewards? So for FLM, there isn't any wallet with more rewards. You don't get FLM by passively holding FLM in your wallet. But if you choose to use Flamingo.finance, there is a lot of products to discover there where you do earn more FLM or other tokens. So I would recommend withdrawing from Binance and putting that FLM to use inside Flamingo Finance. That's the whole reason for it. Not to hold it on the exchange, but to actually use it actively in Flamingo and in the Neo ecosystem. So with regards to the burning, there will be burning of FLM once we get the new product up and running called Flux. And that will be a kind of like a single stake, because and the reason why I say that is because we have Flund now that is a single stake, but it's a different product. But then you can buy that product with your FLM, and the FLM you use that will get burned. So yes, there will be burning of FLM.
I think that question was from the previous Lagoon.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Then I answered it again. Yes.
Oh, no worries at all. No worries at all. I think we could maybe take this moment to maybe discuss a little bit more about Flux, since we already kind of just started talking about it.
Yeah, what's the segue into it? So it is being developed right now together with Order Book Plus, and there is technical challenges to figure out, especially with the Order Book Plus. We had some meetings as well in Hong Kong. So just sit together face to face with every developer so that we can communicate more efficiently than over Discord with all these finer details. And if we manage to do all this in a safe manner, it comes down to all the technical minor details and audits as well, to make sure that you can actually launch the product. As with every Flamingo product, it takes some time because of security. And I'm really excited to see if we're able to pull this off. In theory, it should be possible to release the new version of Order Book Plus. And if we are that, I've never seen that product before, in the technical sense, on how we solve orders and how we really make it efficient to have millions of orders in the order book, and gas price will remain the same no matter how many orders lives in the order book. And that's something really revolutionary for an on-chain order book, because usually you have problems with gas prices becoming higher as the order book is used, or you have a bot network that is required to run besides the order book for orders to be executed, limit orders, and then you have a chance that some orders aren't executed and people get frustrated, and that's the case with our order book now as well. There are two separate markets, the liquidity pools and the order book, and it might happen that arbitrage bot doesn't see any value in triggering your order because it's too small or something, and then we'll ignore it because of the gas price, and then you have a lot of friction and frustration. So if we're able to actually pull this off all the way into production, to the best of my knowledge, that will be something totally new that nobody else is doing. So I guess we can see some copies over to other exchanges really fast. But I'm excited to talk about it because it's revolutionary, but it's difficult also to explain what's happening. I can try to see if I can explain some of the technical mambo jumbo that's going on in the order book. So what the current implementations of order books on chain is right now is that there is huge lists of orders that lives in a database or on chain in storage, and usually you have to loop through all those orders, or you have to kind of look at what's happening on chain and build a registry that's off chain in a central database or in an Excel sheet or something else that you have to keep track of all what's happening on chain. And then you need to pick and choose which orders you want to buy and not buy. And in that sense, that really doesn't happen on the central exchange because they force you to buy the the orders in the correct way, and you cannot ignore anything. And once you try to enforce the same rules on chain, you have higher gas prices usually, and if you don't enforce them, you get kind of people jumping ahead in orders and mixing and taking whatever they pick and choose and like. Usually that happens with arbitrage spots. So what we do instead in the new version is that we pack everything flat on a surface, and every order gets mixed together. That seems kind of dangerous, but it works in a way that you do note the price movements. That's the only thing you basically note every time an order has happened. And we lay every order out on a flat surface, and you can see how much liquidity is at each price throughout the order book. If you note the price changes in a clever way, you can actually go and claim your orders afterwards, so that you can guarantee that there is an execution of your order, in a sense that you can come and claim it later. And you get, when you place a limit order, let's say Bitcoin reaches $100,000. If it does reach that, you can actually go and make a new trade from your earnings, or you can claim them and get them in your wallets. And in that sense, there can be 1 million orders up until Bitcoin for 100K, and it doesn't affect the gas price because everything is mixed together. And for the people that does those trades in the market orders up all the way up to 100,000, they won't feel any difference. The only thing they will feel is that they get much better price impact, because there will be levels of resistance going up to that price of 100K. And with the automated market maker, or the liquidity pools we have now, there is no such resistance at the whole numbers. Like say we try to go past 40K, that's the same as going past 3999. So that's why we want to build it. I'm not sure if it makes sense what I explained now, but that kind of how it works underneath. Yeah,
I think it makes good sense to me and probably others. And obviously, when we launch the new order book, we'll also launch like a lot of technical documentation along with it that will explain like everything that goes on behind it. At later, and Mr. Google and I will churn out some really nice pieces and some documents on that, so that for the more technical people, if you do want to understand exactly what's going on, like it'll be there.
Yeah, and the contracts will be open source, of course, so that it can be audited from white hats as well, and of course to share to the greater like Web3 space. So if anyone else is interested in doing that in the EVM chain, we will probably see new EVM chain. We will probably be the first, but on other EVM chains or other stuff they want to copy and paste, of course we want to contribute to the growth of Web3 as well. That's the nature of being in Web3. But for now, we can hold our cards close to the chest, and I can talk about it in broad terms how we solve this huge technical issue. Yep. So we're going through the end as well. I can, of course, go into a whole thread about Flux, but we have talked about that as well before. So maybe some just technical or development updates that is being developed on the smart contract stage now. So it's not only in IDA mode. So we're kind of like dabbling to see how we can solve it technically, and there is, on a broader level, something to solve as well on how we want to execute the product as well. So, but it doesn't matter. We could still start to dabble in the smart contract code, and we have. So yeah, that's the latest update.
Cool. Looks like we have Qtum/Zatoxy who just joined the stage. How's it going, Qtum?
How are you guys? All good?
All good.
Yeah.
Good to talk to you guys. I have a few questions about the EVM side. Just confusion on my part. That means that there's a lot of things that a lot of questions that are not yet answered. When it comes down to the EVM chain, is it going to be a completely new Neo EVM using EVM as a Turing complete system, or is it going to be compatible with Ethereum? It's going to be like an Ethereum EVM.
Yeah, it's going to be composed of Solidity smart contracts with the same. I think because of the consensus mechanism, they will use their own version of that. Of a really known, I think it's written in Go or something, the program language Go. There is like this EVM supporting environment that could execute EVM codes in a Go environment. So that's really on the technical level, but then they will
it's more to make it it's more to make it compatible with everything that has been developed for Ethereum, but we don't really need Ethereum to pay for the gas fees, and we don't really need to go into Ethereum, because one of the beautiful things of Neo is the low cost.
Yes, so it's incompatible in that sense, to answer your question. Yes, but then I think what was it? I'm not the best to speak to this because that's really on the technical level. There might be some kind of stuff that may be incompatible in the sense of how the consensus will happen, and therefore also the low gas costs. In some stuff they maybe can't do that you can do on the EVM, or the other opposite, that they can do a little bit more. I'm not sure. They talked about it in that community assembly, so they probably shared some detail, but we're not dependent on the Ethereum and the Ethereum network at all. It's to be EVM compatible in the sense that you can run those, copy paste all those good smart contracts over and run them cheaper, faster, better on that new chain. So
when it comes down to Flamingo, we'll just have new pools that'll be EVM, but it'll still, we will be able to wrap and unwrap from one chain to the other, and the usability will be the same. For example, I'll give you an example. For the reverse pools, are they going to be also available in the EVM side? Or people are going to have people enter from the EVM side and then go into N3?
It's going to be on a case-by-case basis, because we won't solve cross-chain in that sense that you can actually affect by doing one transaction on EVM to affect the pools on the N3 side. So they won't be like merged pools that live in both chains at the same time. So we will separate pools. So in the case-by-case basis, we will decide if the reverse pool should be on the EVM chain as well, because it will dilute the liquidity. Because they will have to be two liquidity pools. We're not a liquidity aggregator, on Flamingo. Not
of
yet,
course,
at least.
of course.
Yeah, yes.
So that means that the Flamingos will migrate to EVM, and Neo will migrate to EVM, and you'll have a balance between. Well, you cannot control it, but there's not new assets that are going to be given. They're just going to be the same assets that are going to be, transferred. Whoever wants to transfer to the EVM side.
Exactly, and then my hunch is that the cross-chain experience will be much better than we have right now, because the greatest and best minds are on building that cross-chain to be natively supported between those two nodes with some sort of clever consensus mechanism that is one that we already trust here on Neo. So it will feel much better and be more robust than maybe what we are familiar with with Flamingo cross-chain over the past years with Poly Network. Not to bash anyone, but you know what I'm talking about. For the last couple of months and years, there have been happenings that has been really frustrating for Flamingo, but for the community and Neo as a whole, and other Poly Network support chains. So yes, going back and forth and making your financial decisions and going in and out of pools should be kind of a breeze, because going from that chain to the other chain, you won't pay those high Ethereum fees, So if we would be Ethereum supported, or Flamingo would be supported on Ethereum, you would have to make those decisions. Should I be on the Ethereum side, or should I be on the entry side? That shouldn't really matter with the Neo EVM chain. You can go fast back and forth.
Okay, sounds good. I was worried that I was going to have to now be part of Ethereum again and start paying those high-end $20, $30 fees per transaction.
No, not at all. They like that's a known fact that it is an issue right now. So we wouldn't build a chain that has those problems built in. That's a design consideration now we have to do to not get those high costs.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest reasons to have Neo EVM, so that the transaction costs can be cheaper on the EVM side.
And the launch date, there's no specific launch date for this?
No, that's too early to say right now. At least I haven't been aware of any that being published anywhere. It wasn't really talked about in the community assembly as well, because there was a lot of devs there, and most of the devs knows that like a huge project and endeavor like this, if you try to put a date on it, it will only like be eventually bad when you break it.
Well, we're talking 20. The perception of the Neo team is 2024 or 2025.
It's looking like next year. I mean, I've seen things saying
next year as well. So yes,
in the next couple months even. So
yes, but then we were talking about, of course, testnet that will have to be heavily tested to production-like testing before you can even consider talking about if you have a mainnet launch.
And what does it mean? And what does it mean? MEV resistance? Because it seems like it's something that people are talking about these days, and I try to read about it, but I don't really get a grasp of what is this new thing of having the EVM change, but MEV resistance or something like that.
Yeah, it's something called minor extractable value. So usually within a network, that could be in the an Ethereum network, or it could be in a Bitcoin network, or it can be any network that is distributed with validators or someone actually persisting blocks. Within that network, transactions are flowing freely, and they are not encrypted. In that sense, everyone can see what you are intending to do. So on the Bitcoin network, you can see once you push a transaction to a node, it propagates through the network, and everyone can see that, okay, this address has an intention of sending Bitcoin to that destination address. Okay, everyone can see it. That doesn't really matter that much on the Bitcoin network, but on smart networks where you have financial products, it can be something that is that is a problem, because people can predict what your trade is going to be. As soon as you try to publish your transaction on the network, it's out in the open what you are intending to do in the next 15 seconds in the sense of a Neo chain, or in the next couple of minutes maybe in the sense of Ethereum, or in the next 15 seconds on Binance Smart Chain. And then you can have miners who actually validate the nodes. They can sort that transaction and put in their own transaction before to do arbitrage. They can stack that value. Let's say it's a huge order on the DEX, and then they put themselves in an order right before and do a swap, so that they can make sure you get a bad price and they get a good price, because they can predict that you're going to move the price. And that's an issue that is $1 billion issue, actually. You can see on all chains that is the minor extractable value. You can track it on exchanges, and you can not on every exchange or not on every network you can do it, but you can then also guesstimate how much is happening from the numbers that we do have. And how to solve that is to encrypt the transactions, so that
ZKP. Pretty much going into zero knowledge proof.
Yes, and then it is possible with the clever consensus mechanism on the new chain to have some sort of, we do accept these transactions. We do not know yet what they contain. We will sort them accordingly, according to the network fee and how they arrived in the mempool. And then the transactions that are encrypted will get on top, become first, so that they always become executed first, so that you don't have the issue again that someone jumps in before you. And then you have the sorting mechanism, and then everyone reveals what, or they share a key between them, so that they can actually decrypt what is going to happen. But then the order is set in stone, so you can't really add the transaction now at that stage, and then you solve the whole MEV problem. And it's a really clever way they are trying to solve it. It's not set in stone, that MEV stuff as well, because there is issues and concerns raised as well. on how you do it and if you can really hack it. I had some ideas to hack it, and they took that into consideration, and then they have to implement that as well. So it's in the early stage now, and that's what needs to be tested properly on the testnet. Have a DEX up and running, see if anyone is able to hack it and run MEV attacks, even with the new technology. So yeah, that's in long terms what MEV protection is. Did it make sense?
Yeah, now it made sense. There's very little literature about it, and all the literature, it doesn't really explain it very well. So maybe you should write an article.
Definitely, I'd have a talk with Bordeaux, and we can write something up together once it's nears its release. It should be.
Yeah, because one of the
Flamingo as well. But
one of the painful things was a few weeks ago when gas doubled, pretty much 2-to-1 ratio to NEO, and every time in Flamingo we were doing a transaction, I think I was paying $4.61 per transactions, and it started feeling like Ethereum, and it was you do 4 or 5 swaps, it's $30. So
now you can go into the Neo Hub, or not the Neo Hub, but the Neo Discord channel. You can talk with the devs, and if the price remains high, it will be one consensus transaction that will change that price immediately for the whole chain. There will be cheaper prices again, because it's all in the policy contract of Neo and how the network is run. So we can change that on the fly. All the consensus nodes. Once we see that the network gets congested from the high prices, we decide no, the prices shouldn't be this high. So the problem is solved in that sense. So if this goes on for a long time and we see less traffic because of it, it can be voted on to change. So that's the beautiful thing about Neo, and that will probably be the exact same thing on the Neo EVM chain. I'm saying probably a lot and undecided because it's in the early stages, but it's definitely this way on entry that we can decide what the prices should be on the network, and the storage prices, network prices, everything. And you shouldn't be fearful of congestion in that sense in a longer period of time.
Okay, sounds good. So, well, I thank you for all the answers.
No worries. Glad to have you here.
I'll leave the space for some other curious people to speak.
Cool.
Sure. I think we need to wrap us up as well. Maybe some important questions in the chat I haven't seen, but yeah. Nice to have you.
Yeah, thanks, Qtum. There's some questions in the chat. Someone asking, let's see. Flamingo also moving their ambassador program to Zealy. Yes, the ambassador program is now on Zealy, and you can win the ambassador role by coming in first or second spot on the leaderboard on any given month. That'll get you the ambassador role. And then we have someone asking a lot about different prices. Unfortunately, we can't speculate about prices of FLM. Obviously, the team does everything we can to provide a functioning DeFi platform / DEX. We do everything we can to make that experience smooth as butter. We do everything we can working in the background with Neo and other tokens on Neo, and now with all this Neo EVM stuff. But we can't really speculate on why the price is what it is today, or why it was what it was a few weeks ago, or what it'll be in the future. That's up to you to decide. We hope that you enjoy your experience on Flamingo Finance, and we hope that by using Flamingo, that usually inherently means that you're probably buying Flamingo FLM either for the fund or to stake in other liquidity pools. That's really the whole point behind FLM. It's the reward token. So yeah, we're not here to speculate on the price of FLM though.
Yeah, and I should also note, like this from time to time in the chat, it talks about the price manipulation of FLM and other tokens, and then like the Flamingo team does not participate in any kind of price manipulation, and I've confronted Neo about it as well. Of course, I cannot speak on behalf of any of the Neo organization, but they confirmed to me as well they do not participate in any manipulation of any price of FLM or Neo or gas or anything like that. So everyone's speculating about that. Okay, feel free to share your thoughts about it. But I am confirming here now, we do not do any fake demands or anything on the price of FLM. So I'll just leave it at that. That's a final dot answer from me. Like that doesn't make any sense in my head to do even. So building here for so long, it feels bad every time people say stuff like that. So yeah, people can speculate how much they want, but we do not do it. That was kind of a negative note to leave things on, so we can speak to something more positive. But I really wanted to say that for a long time.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that. We have some users concerned with that, but yeah, I think we've kind of like beat it like a dead horse at this point. Like the team doesn't even own any FLM that we haven't bought ourselves. So there's no way that we could actually like manipulate with our own tokens. And if you're thinking that we're like faking numbers on the platform, that's not happening either. But yeah, in order to, end on a good note, let's like put that to the side. I'm thrilled with the position DeFi is in this upcoming bull market. I'm thrilled with the position Flamingo Finance is in the bull market, as well as, with all the Neo EVM stuff, the new Zealy contest coming up, new order book coming up, Fox coming up. There's a lot of really, really nice things about to happen for Flamingo. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks for joining us for this month's Flamingo Community Lagoon AMA. We're going to post this on YouTube as well as on Spotify for those who may have missed it. It'll be on Twitter. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. We'll probably even include a few special Zealy tasks for it, just to get the word out a little bit more. Thanks again for joining. For those who, in the chats and on stage, definitely appreciate it. Thank you to the team. And we'll see you next time.
See ya. Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.